If you're depressed, listen up. Depression is an opinion on the phrase compression. It's a negative output on something that's happening inside. This is a Bashar thing right there. Another way I've been taught, or rather where it's derived from for the creative types, is an idea that was buried. And there's a weight to that. You're in a little crab tank of a 10-gallon crab tank. There's a bunch of sand in there, and a bunch of marbles of ideas are in there. Now, how heavy is that when you have a bunch of marbles? Marbles themselves are pretty heavy added up. And now you got the sand and the tank in there. Try lifting that up. That feels... there's oppression to it. Now, there's natural ways of life of, ups and downs. But if you look at compression in audio, it's where we, take off those little clips. Like it's clipping, it's too spiky. So we compress it, and that's what a lot of these certain pills that are doing things would say. Or rather, what the system is having you, can't say too much. But to compress emotion not just negates the negatives, but also the highs of life. So now you're living this very compressed way of life because now there's chemicals involved. But without that, we have these ups and downs, and some people don't like it. I will say the higher your ups and the lower your downs. Some people say that those are so often and frequent and cyclical, that they would call that bipolar. Or rather, if somebody has these ups and downs that are so extreme and they can't handle it, then they resort to something that compresses their emotion, the upper half and the lower half. Alcohol could be a thing. Caffeine is a form of that. Like I do the caffeine side. I can't handle it. Just bring me back up. Let's go. I never, ever would do a downer. Ever. You already have to... Why would you make it worse? That's a stupid, idiotic, oh my gosh. Never. If you're down, don't make it worse. Oh yeah, you're already bleeding. Stick some lemon juice and salt on it. Oh yeah, now you enjoy the pain. Idiot move. Anyway, I have my opinions about certain chemicals. But hey, let's not make it worse, right? So depression, okay, got it. I feel bad, Eric. Oh, this is a personality channel. How do I relate this to personality types? Okay, well, let's jump into it. I'm going to categorize them by 4. Yeah, there's 16 in the Myers-Briggs realm, but the majority of the world categorizes most personalities by 4. And for this, I'm going to do the last 2 letters. So FPs, FJs, TJs, and FJs. I would say that the most weird one is the TJs, because they're more about like, oh, my expectations weren't met, or I tried to do something and didn't work, so I'm going to pout. TJs do that because they're looking for answers and then like a solid, okay, this is a predictable thing, boom, moving on. And they're less emotional. In fact, they're hardly emotional at all. Hence the TJ name. Then you got the FJs. These are the people who probably have it worse because they have this feeling, and then they have these rules that they're slapping on the feeling, trying to cap these feelings with, well, that's not how, Joanna behaves normally. Oh, that's not how I should behave normally. FJs will do this to other people and to themselves, which creates this weird expectation and this emotion that they're trying to compress again to our earlier point of like, well, that's not the norm of emotion. TJs are like, that's not the norm of behavior. Behavior is not emotion. Behavior is the result. This is what's happening. This is the pattern. TJs and the FJs. You see how the J is very like, see, it's a J, judging function. Then you have the Ps, the perceivers like myself. Very sporadic and random. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, that sounds great. Let's end the video right there because I'm driving. Right? You can't, as you can see how I am reading, watching my videos or whatever, people comment and message to me all the time and ask about certain things, and they know who I am and where I'm coming from because the person they're asking advice from is this type. If you want something very predictable or protective or defensive, you're probably going to go to a J type because they have those rules. A P type is more on the entertainer side, more on a sporadic artistic side because we don't want to be bound by those rules. Now, however, we're very good at procrastinating, P types, very good. Because that marble in the tank, back to the original point, gets very, very, very heavy if we don't act on the thing that we're doing in that moment. Or somebody who wants to be a little more sporadic takes us out of the moment, and now we have this unfinished idea, unfinished art of some kind. Books, audios, videos, even games. Well, that's very unlikely because games give the instant gratification, so we resort back to games easily. Most people do because that's a different type of dopamine hit, right? Because games know how to do that with sights and sounds and colors and fun and upgrades and progress because we're hitting the progressive form, which is TE actually. So let's get a little less advanced and jump at it. FP types get depressed because of unfinished works. We have such feeling in the moment, and if we don't act on it, it compounds against us. And now we have all these unfinished projects, all these unfinished dreams, and we feel this weight. What's that movie? The Weight of Unbearable Talent or something. Like the idea of that phrase, not necessarily the movie itself, even though the movie was pretty great. And now you have this type of depression that has a heaviness to it. An FJ type has a different type of heaviness. It's more like my anticipation was different, and this happened instead. The behavior was different, and therefore because of that, I'm this. The FJ types have a different type of depression that's more pattern related. So SI demon INFJ depression is more about, oh, there's a stickiness here, and therefore there's a stickiness here because of this person's behavior, and this affected me, and now I have this woe is this heaviness, rather than the woe is me, because they can see the outside and the inside, which allows this you can't fool me INFJ thing. So they're sticky on both sides, outside and inside. Stickiness for ENFJs are a little different because they expect the behavior of somebody else to be different. Now you have other types. This is a little bit, oh wow, I didn't realize how profound this is. I hope you guys are liking these. Thanks for joining us here. I'm Eric Osmond. I'm an FP type. And we have a really big YouTube video coming out. Okay, there's our advertisement. So head on over to YouTube to check that out. Make sure you don't miss it. Link in the bio. Okay, well, let's talk about TPs. TP depression is almost dark and icky because now you have this cold thing that they won't acknowledge their feelings. And because of that, it has this ruminating effort. Like it tries to come back, but because you're such a thinker type, not a feeler, you don't see it as practical. And now you're being twisted on the inside, but it's like a loop that you can't get out of. And now TPs can be stuck. INTPs, ENTPs, this feeling of, oh, I was hurt, or this idea didn't go through. ENTPs have a lot of ideas, or they try a lot of things in life, but because they do so many different things, they don't necessarily have this one course of life, which when they do, they're healthy, technically speaking, because that's NE, all that mixed with their NI, first and fifth functions, blah, blah, blah. But keeping it light, TPs have it differently. So I hope this is a nice little brush up on these 4 types of depression, for what depression is versus compression versus your perspective of it versus the clipping of that within an audio analogy and the weight of the marbles in the tank. And everybody hits depression differently. We're only talking about the 4 generalities. Now I can go into detail of each 16, which would be a really long video. Let me know what you want. Let me know if these are ideas that you're considering. Let me know if you're depressed. Let me know what your type is, what category you fit into. Let me know if I'm off on any of these. You're one type, but you feel it differently. Because that's not all one size fits all, right? So tell me. Feel free to put in the comments and help each other out. I love reading your guys' comments. And what I love most is when another person comes in and helps somebody in the comments like that. And I read that and then I learn too. So thank you guys so much. Remember, depression is not personal. It's not. Because what you're feeling and you're putting it out becomes public. And if you make a decision, a horrible decision, when you are feeling a personal decision, you have no idea the ripple effect of what that happens afterwards.